Hey gang, Ben here, Orbital Marine, orbitalboats.com. Taking an opportunity while we're out on the river. I've had a couple calls from customers this summer already regarding mid-range problems with their outboard motor, impeller problems, things of that nature. As you can see, we're out on Sandstone Flowage, which is a popular boating destination for our family. We have some homes on this particular stretch of water, and this summer in particular, a lot of the lakes and rivers around here have seen quite a substantial amount of weed growth. You can see this is right out in the middle of the waterway, and it is this thick spaghetti. I call it a spaghetti weed. I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's a pretty coarse weed, similar to a lily pad that really wraps itself around the prop. You know, the water intakes on the bottom of the engine, we're in a V-hull boat here today, but particularly with the popularity of the pontoons, we especially see problems with the pontoon boat because you have a motor just sticking down off the transom, nothing in front of it. The V-hulls tend to be a little bit cleaner just because you have the boat right in front of your motor, but with the pontoons, it's just a stick sticking down in the water. And what happens is these weeds get caught around the prop and around the lower unit, clogging up the water intake and or clogging up the prop, which means that when you give it throttle, you're not getting the bite of the propeller like you should be, so you get this sensation that there's no mid-range. What we're going to do today is kind of show you some of the problems, some of the solutions, and try to help you out if you come across this, especially if the weeds continue to grow, which they probably will as more and more lakes and streams become developed. The nutrient load into the waterways is causing weed growth quite substantially, and give you some tricks to hopefully make your impeller last longer and make sure that you get the power out of your engine that you're looking for. Okay gang, we're back in the back of the engine, and we haven't even had this motor in gear. We simply drifted into this pool of weeds here. Mitch, if you can get down here, you can see how the weeds wrap themselves around the front of the motor. This is the problem with the impellers, because as you're moving through these, it wraps itself around, which in turn clogs up your water intakes down here, right? So if you can imagine these weeds coming around the front of the motor as you're going forward, and they wrap around, clogging up, you know, your water intake here, because they hook around the front of the motor. That's a lot of times what takes out people's impellers, which the impeller is the rubber wheel inside of your water pump that pushes cooling water through your engine to keep it from overheating. Now the problem with this is you can replace your impeller every year, every 3 years, every 10 years. I don't really care what your service intervals are on the impeller, but if you get into weeds like this, you can take it out in a matter of minutes after you put a brand new one in. Because what happens is those water intakes get clogged with weeds and no water can get through there. It's just a rubber wheel. The rubber heats up, it melts, and takes out your water pump. Then you gotta take it into the shop, get a new water pump put in. So this is what we always try to tell people. When you're driving the boat in a weedy area, you know, just be aware of what's outside, especially the surface weeds. If you get through surface weeds, you have to stop and inspect your engine to make sure that your water intakes are not clogged up. Now, a lot of times it can be as simple as just slowing down, putting the boat in reverse, which causes the weeds to come off the front. And as you can see with this spaghetti weed, as I call it, and lily pads are terrible as well. It's a really coarse weed. So to just put it in reverse doesn't always do the trick. You gotta literally physically get out here and pull them off because it wraps itself around there so strong and around the prop. Now the prop is a different beast. So what we're gonna do next, before we get too far along here, you can see we got some weeds starting around the prop. But we'll fire this engine up, put it in gear, and I'll show you what happens, how the prop wraps full of these weeds. Okay, so you can see how the weeds are both in the front of the engine. As I say, this is what causes the water intakes to become clogged up. So the front of the engine, that's pretty easy. Back down. Put it in reverse. The weeds keep going forward, the boat and the motor goes backwards, and things are cleared up. Now, the prop itself, you can see, we just put it in reverse. These are pretty coarse weeds. They did not come off the prop. So what's the problem with this? I'll show you the problem with this. So now we'll fire it back up. Now remember, we got quite a few weeds on this motor. We can still come out of the hole. The motor itself will come up, get you moving. But when you go wide open, nothing changes. We're stuck at 4,000 RPMs. There's no additional speed being generated from the front. Now we got good water flow. Off the water intake. You know, it gives you the sensation that you have no mid-range or high end of your motor, because all you're getting, and again, we'll show you, it'll put you out of the water, it'll keep going, but you never come on plane. Now sometimes you'll get a lot of vibration in the boat and things of that nature. Now we had no vibration there. Basically all it give us the sensation of is that we weren't getting full power out of our outboard. So what we'll do, we'll shut her down here. I'll pick it up. So you can see, even after going down the river a couple thousand yards, we still got a significant amount of weeds on that prop. So we'll try one more time to give her the old reverse fix. So a lot of times, especially if you don't have a real poor speed, go in reverse. Get that prop spinning in the opposite direction, and a lot of those weeds will come off. Now, I'm pretty certain that, just from my experience with this particular type of weed, it's not coming off. So what we got to do, get ourselves out here, clean these up. Make sure you shut your engine off before you put your hands back by the prop. You really got to get these weeds off, and there's only one way to do it at this point, which is get back here and physically remove them. Try not to fall in the water. We do this. Got some over on this side. I mean, these things really are coarse, and they get bound up real good. Okay, so now got nearly all, if not all, the weeds removed. Put the motor back in the water. Now, I like to put her in reverse one last time, even after physically removing them. Get yourself in some clean water. RPMs when we had weeds on it at wide open throttle. Now we're maybe at a third, a half throttle, in the same range, and the motor's running a lot smoother. There was still no vibration in the boat. There wasn't vibration when we had the weeds on the prop, but you can just tell that the motor is generating the power that it's supposed to. So as you can see from this demonstration, it's very easy and very quick to get weeds wrapped around your prop, which has two concerns. One, if it gets in front of the water intake, you can take out impellers because it's blocking those screens and those water ports where the water pump sucks the water in, pushes up through your engine, and discharges it through the telltale to cool your engine. And two, even though you may not feel vibration or have any other impacts, you're going to have the sensation that your engine's not producing power because with those weeds wrapped around the prop, it's not able to bite in the water like it's supposed to. The only way to fix this is one, pay attention, try to stay out of the weeds to begin with, and two, if you do see that you're in them, from time to time you have to stop, check, and inspect your motor. Again, as lakes become more and more developed, more nutrient load, we see the weeds growing more and more every year. Hot temperatures definitely help to bring it out, the worst of it out. Rainy conditions like we've had this summer just keeps that nutrient load coming from on shore. So as weeds continue to increase in our waterways, it's just something to be aware of and something that you really have to watch out for, because it doesn't show a lot of signs of being a problem other than the fact that you don't quite get the performance out of your engine that you're hoping for. And to fix it, you basically just got to stop and remove the weeds. So we hope that this little demonstration helps you